we were talking about how this has gone from being a hot topic to maybe not a topic at all, and that is whether or not Jared Goff is a quarterback of the future with the Lions. And I would say that the data that we have gotten back is feels pretty definitive that he is. But have we received enough data? I mean, the good news is a decision has to be made this split second. And if you take a look at 4 games to go, maybe more, it could all the wheels could come off. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they've been so good offensively, dating back to late last year. And remember, Dan Campbell was calling plays after Anthony Lynn was demoted or had those duties as his offensive coordinator taken away. He started playing better. Did Jared Goff, and it's continued into this year. I mean, there's a good chance that one of these next 4 games isn't going to be great, and this defense they're playing this week is pretty good. But the question becomes, and Dave Burkett wrote to this in the Free Press today, is if you have a top 5 pick, can you afford to not take a quarterback if there's one there that you like? Because these opportunities to pick that high in a draft don't come along very often. And it's something to think about. Eric Woodyard on ESPN wrote, yes, Jared Goff is having a great season, but they have to secure young talent at that spot. So that doesn't mean you're not committed to Jared Goff. It's like an insurance policy at the most important position that you won't be able to always get this insurance. You know, if you don't have a top 5 pick, you lose out on this rare opportunity to take a quarterback. Now, let's assume that the Lions like a quarterback at the top of the draft worth taking. I think Goff should be here next year. And I don't think they have to take a quarterback. I don't necessarily agree. Look, Eric Woodyard, Dave Burkett, these guys do a good job. I'm not ripping on their opinions. And Dave didn't even really go as far as Eric Woodyard did, but I don't think they need to do it. Do we have enough data right now to know, or will we have enough data by the end of the season to know whether or not they just need to lock into Goff? And I think the answer is yes. And I think we have enough data right now. I mean, he's not going to have, how many of these 4 games would he have to play poorly in before you change your mind? And I think it's too many that can realistically happen. I mean, if he has one stinker, plays well in the other 3, if he has one stinker, one average game, and plays well in the other 2, I'm perfectly fine with Jared Goff. And I don't see him having more than, I think he'll be really good in at least 2 of these final 4 games, probably 3 of them. That one bad game isn't going to have me changing my mind. One bad game and one average game isn't going to have me changing my mind. So, there are other ways to get quarterbacks other than the draft. And I guess if you're wrong on Goff, if you are wrong, in the next couple of years, you might be picking near the top of the draft anyway. Now, it doesn't mean I don't take a quarterback. Like, the perfect quarterback to add this year is that gem that needs polish or time. And I really look at 3 candidates that I really like, and out of the 3, there's one in particular. Hendon Hooker needs time because of injury. The problem with Hendon Hooker is that he's currently, is he 25?
I think he's 33. No, he's old.
Yes. And
he
so
is for his,
he's not going to play next year, coming off the knee injury, and you wouldn't think. So if he's 25 now, next year he'll be 26. The first time you got to play the guy is 27, which is almost as old as Goff is right now.
Yeah, for those reasons, he's kind of off my board, personally. It's just that it's an age thing, man. With the injury, without the injury, all right, you know what? Maybe he's maturity-wise ahead of the other guys, and that's actually could be an asset if you're looking for someone who might have to step in at some point, right? Because if you have Goff, you don't need him right away.
Now, I don't completely rule him out because by the time he's ready to go, Goff will be 30-plus, and Hendon Hooker was trending towards a guy I would love to have. And so even if he sits out next year, I'd still consider it, depending on what round it is, and it would have to be a mid to later round. The other two I'm looking at are Bo Nix and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And the guy I think I really want is Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I think that's a guy that you put into your system, and he becomes your quarterback. If you're your quarterback that you're developing while you still have Goff, and then you're either moving on from him and keeping Goff, or you just have two quarterbacks that you've got, like the Baltimore situation, which seems to be about as healthy a situation as you can have at quarterback with Lamar and Huntley. I don't know. Your thoughts?
I think that there is a listen. The Goff has put him in a pretty good situation. I think it was either play really well or play really bad, right? Because that way I don't want to be in purgatory. Yeah, I don't want to. Now I know Goff can be the guy. Whether he continues to be a guy, I guess, is the maybe the gray area.
Mm-hmm.
Securing young talent at the position, as the ESPN article wrote. I guess, what does that mean? Secure it, just have some young quarterback, like you said, maybe mid to later round? Or is it like more Burkett, where you're like, hey, this might be your best opportunity to secure top-tier talent, young top-tier talent, before it's too late, right? Because if Goff gets this team to 500, 8, 9 wins, you're still in an area where you're not, you're trying to win divisions and playoff games. That's not good enough. But then your draft pick is back to the middle of the pack. And that is not where you secure top-tier quarterback talent. You have to. Everyone knows it's top 10. People that don't have that pick, they move up to get that pick. The thing about the Goff situation is, I really hope they don't extend him at the end of this year, because he's under contract for 2 more years. And the new hotness is 2 years left, you extend your guy if you think he's your guy, right? I hope they wait it out. At least 1 more year. I still do think they need a young quarterback at some point. I'm not reaching anymore. I almost crossed it off my list. And you know me, I've been a guy, hey, you cannot rule out quarterback with your first pick. Now I'm like, show me something if you really want me to take a quarterback there. I mean, these guys have to really wow you, right? And if you have any questions of Stroud or Levis, then you don't do it. It's just not worth it. You need help on the defensive side of the ball badly. Take that guy instead. So, where I'm at, I don't lock in on Goff, but he's definitely my quarterback next year, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think I am mid-round development guy, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I'm not using one of these first-round picks on a quarterback.
They'd have to wow you. They'd have to be like, dude,
can't pass on.
Yeah, I can't pass. The talent level's too good.
It's too much, and you can do both.
Yeah, because
you can draft the guy and keep Goff for
exactly.
2 more years, and then maybe extend him. Like, look, Green Bay had a formula. They had Brett Favre. They put a first-round pick in Aaron Rodgers, and they stashed him
because he was too good to pass up.
And then they came back, and they did it with Jordan Love, and guess what? That one's clearly not working the same.
Yeah, there's these situations throughout history we can always go back to where they had the guy and still try to stash the other guy. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. You just name 2 with the same team. Yep. You look at the Chiefs, Alex Smith, the number 1 overall pick, leading them to the playoffs every year. They still went up, traded up, and got Patrick Mahomes. Worked out. The Niners, Jimmy Garoppolo, leading them to playoff wins every year. They went and traded up for Trey Lance. Trey Lance has not worked out. Thank God they still have Jimmy Garoppolo. So these things, they can work out really well or they can't. But I think the fact is, at least with the Niners situation, you could still lean back on that guy. And I think having Jared Goff under contract for 2 more years, if they do decide to go for that can't-miss guy, at least they have Goff. But I still wouldn't endorse it personally.
Yeah, I'm looking at a draft where if everything goes great, it's defensive tackle, it's cornerback, it's inside linebacker, it's running back or tight end, it's another defensive player, and then it's maybe Dorian Thompson-Robinson in the middle round, and you just say, hey, we're going to groom you, and if we think you're good enough to be our backup, you will be, and if not, we'll sign a veteran, and we'll have 3 quarterbacks.